The winter this year is not only incredibly cold, but also increasingly alarming. On one hand, we face the bone-chilling freeze that seems to grip everything in its path. On the other, wildfires rage in some areas, and storm systems are intensifying, creating a terrifying combination of natural forces. To add to the concern, hurricane storms may also make their way toward the U.S. in the coming days, bringing even more danger. It's a reminder of how unpredictable and powerful nature can be, and we must take it seriously. This is a time to stay vigilant and prepared. The combination of freezing temperatures, unpredictable storms, and the looming possibility of hurricanes means that everyone should be ready for any emergency. January has been the coldest January in years since the 1990s. In fact, while the month may end with a slight warm-up, the Arctic blast we experienced last week significantly impacted temperatures, leading to below normal January across most of the lower 48 states. This was the most widespread cold outbreak we've seen since the 90s. Looking at winter weather across the lower 48, snowfall started strong this season in the Rockies, Cascades, and Sierras. We've had a mix of snowfall this winter, including a historic snowstorm near the Gulf Coast and a major snowstorm stretching from the Central Plains through the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast, with significant lake effect snow as well. However, some areas such as southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, northern Illinois, and Wisconsin haven't seen much snow. Your chances for snowfall may improve in February. Now, let's walk through the forecast, starting with temperatures on Monday morning. Those heading to work or school in the western U.S. will face chilly conditions, especially in higher elevations. Expect teens and 20s in some areas, with 40s farther south. In the central U.S., many will wake up to temperatures in the 20s, with single digits in places like the Nebraska Panhandle, Colorado, and western Kansas. Moving to the east, northern areas such as Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York will see the coldest conditions with single-digit and low-teen temperatures. Farther south, the Ohio Valley will start the day in the teens, while areas closer to the Gulf Coast will see lows in the 40s. Temperature anomalies show a warming trend as we progress through the week. By Monday and Tuesday, a large mass of warm air will push into the U.S. from Canada. Wednesday and Thursday could bring record-breaking highs across the upper Midwest, with temperatures near or above record levels. The Mid-Atlantic may also experience record warmth by Friday, January 31st. Late January will also feature some storm activity. Southern California will see much-needed moisture spreading into Arizona and New Mexico. Light snow is possible near Flagstaff and Albuquerque on Monday night. By Tuesday, a northwest flow from Canada could bring a clipper system to the Great Lakes, with a few inches of snow likely. A more significant storm system will develop in the Four Corners region on Wednesday, potentially sparking severe weather in Texas. As the system matures on Thursday, instability and rising dew points will lead to more moisture in the atmosphere, bringing heavy rainfall and a greater chance of severe weather. On Friday, the system will shift east, potentially triggering severe storms in parts of Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. By late January, record-breaking highs across the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic mean rain rather than snow for these regions. As for severe weather, a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, is forecast for central and west Texas on Wednesday, January 29th. By Thursday, the risk area expands to include North Texas, Central Texas, near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and even San Antonio. Potential threats include damaging winds, large hail, and heavy rainfall. Tornadoes will be a possibility on both Wednesday and Thursday this January. This system will also bring abundant moisture, with the Gulf just to the south of these areas. It won't take much to transport that moisture northward, leading to several rounds of rain. Rainfall totals could range from 2 to as much as 5 inches, especially in northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma, and Arkansas, with some of that spreading into western Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. These areas could see isolated to scattered flash flooding. Now, as for snow, it will primarily be limited to the mountains in the west or the Clipper system track from Canada into the Great Lakes, where the heaviest snow is expected through the early stages of February. Snowfall in Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado will be notable, with areas like Flagstaff finally getting the snow they've been waiting for later this work week. First week of February, detailed breakdown. During the first week of February, we'll see a trough forming across the Pacific Northwest and a ridge developing along the East Coast. This ridge will bring milder temperatures to the eastern U.S., while the trough will result in colder conditions in the Pacific Northwest. The temperature pattern for early February shows cold air over southwestern Canada and the Pacific Northwest. The backside of storm systems could bring cold air outbreaks to the northern plains, central plains, and the upper Midwest. Meanwhile, the eastern seaboard will experience milder conditions thanks to the ridge. Low pressure systems will track from the Texas Panhandle northeastward toward Chicago and southern Lake Michigan. Underneath this storm track, ice storms are possible in colder regions to the west, while heavy snow will fall in these areas. Farther south and east, heavy rain and severe weather are likely. Snowstorm potential. Let's look at the European model for snowstorm predictions in early February. On Saturday, February 1st, a significant system will impact the Pacific Northwest, bringing heavy rain to Seattle and Portland and significant snowfall to portions of Idaho, Washington, and Oregon, especially in the Cascades. By Sunday, snow will move farther north into Canada, impacting areas like Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia. By Monday, February 3rd, the snow line will shift slightly southward. Between February 5th and 7th, a more mature winter storm could develop. This system may bring heavy snow to the northern regions, ice storms in areas along the storm track, and severe weather with heavy rainfall in southern areas. The exact track, moisture availability, and intensity of this system are still uncertain, but we'll monitor it closely. The GFS model aligns with the European model, showing heavy snow in the Pacific Northwest on February 1st and 2nd, with the snow line moving south by February 3rd. It also predicts a major winter storm between February 5th and 7th, with similar patterns of snow, ice, and severe weather. Snowfall probabilities. The probability of at least 1 inch of snow is highest in the Northeast, Great Lakes, Upper Midwest, and parts of the Intermountain West, with some areas having a 100% chance. For 3 inches or more, probabilities are moderate, 30 to 50% in cities like Des Moines, Chicago, Detroit, and Toledo. The chance for 6 inches or more is lower, but still possible farther north, where storm tracks favor prolonged snowfall. Second week of February, in an overview, between February 8th and 15th, the storm track will likely continue from the western U.S. toward the Midwest. Arctic air may push farther south, bringing the freezing line into areas like the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, and parts of West Virginia and Maryland. The snow line will also shift slightly southward, but it's unlikely to reach the Gulf Coast. Areas like the Texas Panhandle, North Georgia, possibly Atlanta, and the Carolinas could see some snow. Upper level winds and storm setup. To understand what's happening at the surface, we first need to examine the upper level winds. If we look at the 500 millibar winds, we can see a polar jet stream marked by the blue line and the 540 line representing colder air. This will continue with a cross-polar flow, bringing light to moderate snow showers and some lake effect snow. Additionally, there's a secondary feature, an upper level low, which is actually helping with some of the wildfires and lifting moisture out of the Pacific. This moisture is benefiting the Southwest, but the low will gradually move eastward, bringing significant storms to the region by midweek. Storm timing and development. Let's break down the system's progression. By Monday, the low pressure will continue to deepen, but it will take its time. There's going to be a cutoff low that separates from the main low pressure center. This will stall the system over the Four Corners region. But by Wednesday, the low will gather enough energy to move eastward into Texas. This could bring severe storms to far west Texas in the afternoon. As the system gets closer, it will help lift the atmosphere and trigger widespread showers and thunderstorms. Meanwhile, a Clipper system will drop south from the northwest, bringing colder temperatures and snow showers to New England. I believe Thursday will be the most significant day as the cutoff low strengthens over New Mexico. This will bring heavy snow to the region and increase the risk of severe storms, as well as widespread rainfall across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Precipitation and snow. We'll also see a lot of rain from this system, especially in the deep south, as well as some snow in the higher elevations of California. By Monday afternoon, Flagstaff, Arizona will likely start to see snow. As the system moves eastward, snow squalls will impact areas in upstate New York and Pennsylvania by Tuesday afternoon. But the most significant weather will unfold by Wednesday when the low pressure center moves closer. Moisture and precipitation anomalies. Looking at the precipitable water anomalies, it's clear we're going to have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, around 200 to 300% above average for this time of year. With a south to southwest wind, this will cause the air to rise, making it a very wet period for the south. We're already seeing Gulf moisture being pulled in, which will bring additional rain and thunderstorms to the region. We could be looking at some significant heavy rains heading into Wednesday, especially on Thursday, and there's a notable severe storm risk. Currently, the SPC has issued a slight risk for day 4, which includes areas like Abilene and San Angelo, where larger hail and damaging winds are possible. Additionally, the precipitation anomalies are quite impressive for January, with estimates of up to 300% above average. This indicates an unusual amount of moisture in the atmosphere. In fact, the Weather Prediction Center has already issued a day 5 slight risk for excessive rainfall in North Texas, Northeast Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. The precipitation could reach nearly 400% of the typical values, which raises the risk of flash flooding from Wednesday to Friday. Wet conditions for the southeast. It's shaping up to be a very wet period for the deep south and southeast. As this system moves eastward, the storm will interact with colder polar air from the north, which will create a battleground for weather systems across the country. Temperature anomalies and warming. Let's take a look at the temperature anomalies on the latest ensemble guidance. We'll still have some colder air lingering. But as we move into Tuesday, ahead of the main disturbance, winds will shift from the south. This will help warm up the atmosphere significantly, bringing above average temperature anomalies in advance of the storm system. The warmer air will help fuel thunderstorms, lifting moisture and creating the conditions needed for precipitation. At the same time, the Clipper system coming down from Canada will drop temperatures by 10 to 25 degrees below average across New England. This will bring a mix of rain and snow in its wake, which could contribute to our first major winter storm, February and Groundhog Day. As we turn the calendar to February, especially around Groundhog Day, much of the country will see a warm-up. However, we've also been predicting a return of cold air, and that's exactly what's happening after Groundhog Day. Colder anomalies will pour in from Alaska, pushing eastward with a northwest flow that will drop temperatures significantly. This will set up a battle zone in the middle of the country where warmer southern air will clash with the colder air from the north. Winter storms and snow. This boundary will fuel a lot of snow across northern areas like Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, and the north central U.S. As this cold air presses further south, the storm track will intensify with snow becoming more widespread. The cold air will continue to build, especially after Groundhog Day, creating a dynamic storm system that could bring a significant winter storm to the northern states. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for my next update. I'll keep you protected before and after the storm.